Let's do an introduction to this channel. I am Artificer Jen, or just Jen. I have been a cosplayer for pretty much my whole life. My mom thought that having the skill of sewing was super important, and so she put me into sewing classes when I was around 8. And of course, the only thing I wanted to sew were Halloween costumes at the time. And then when I moved on to high school, I did the costuming for a lot of our plays and productions in high school. Pretty much ran that whole department from the student side. We did have teachers, but the student side, I was running the costume department. And then when I got to college, I went into intermediate arts. It was really great for me to expand my artistic base. I took things from 3D animation and sculpture. I took video art. I took performance art. I took sculpture and ceramics. Got kind of like an all-around mix of arts in there, which has really been great as I've moved on to cosplay. After college, I didn't really know what I was doing with myself, so I got really interested in culinary arts. So I do occasionally make like cakes and treats and things on this channel, especially since we have like family birthdays and things that come around. It makes it kind of fun to have that. But I really got into cosplay around 2021. So even though I have been sewing and I have been making costumes most of my life, I didn't really start taking it into the cosplay realm until 2021. And then shortly thereafter, I went right into competitive cosplay because that is my number one passion. It really became something that I am super interested in, and I've really, really invested most of my like hobby and like personal time doing outside of like my normal daily life stuff. So kind of like as an interesting background, like I grew up, my parents build furniture. My grandma was an artist and a cake decorator. And my other grandma was also a really proficient fiber artist doing embroidery and crochet and knitting and things. So I have a lot of really creative background. And I kind of grew up with a mentality that allows me to have like that mental elasticity where, because I've had so many different mediums I've been exposed to growing up, it really makes it fun to translate some of those ideas from one medium to another medium. And that's part of what makes cosplay so fun and interesting to me, because I get to translate maybe a building or production technique that I learned with my parents building furniture into something that I'm going to include in costume design. As odd as that might seem, I have done that in the past where I think about things in a really elastic way, and it's almost where I get the most joy and satisfaction out of it. So even though I'm not like a professional in any of these things, it's really fun to create new designs and techniques. And I think that's how cosplay has gone from where it was when it started to where it is now, is creative people have continued to pull ideas and techniques from other genres and other materials to create new and exciting things. So this year, 2025, I have a few projects lined up. The beginning of the year, and probably most of my time, is going to be spent doing Mina Ashira from Kaiju 8. That build is going to have many parts to it. I am in the middle of building the power suit. We're making spine pieces, leather pouches, her enormous like cannon gun thing. I'm gonna have to make a wig, like a ponytail wig, one of the helmet wigs for her as well. And a few other things here and there, boots, and lighting and things like that will also be included in that costume. So those are things to look forward to for that. I also have, after her, I have Mau Mau from Apothecary Diaries. I'm going to learn how to make hanfu. I'm probably going to do some embroidery on it, as well as making hairpins, which are really cute and part of the story. And then she's also going to need a pretty elaborate wig situation. The fun part about Mau Mau is I am going to primarily make the entire costume from either thrifted or recycled items. That's what's going to make this one a much more fun and interesting costume for me. Third, I already have the materials thrifted and found for most of Rosie from Hazbin Hotel. I'm excited to really do something that's a little bit different than what I normally do. I don't normally do gowns, and I also have very little experience with like makeup. I haven't full face painted ever before, so that's going to be something I'll probably experiment with before we go to con. And I've never curled a wig. I've styled wigs, I've cut wigs. I've never curled a wig, and Rosie definitely has curly hair, so that wig will also be a fun little experiment. I may throw in a couple of other projects throughout the year. I have this goal to go to the Ren Fair here. Used to go to the Ren Fair all the time. Haven't been since we've been in this area, so I would like to go to the Ren Fair this year and possibly make a corset or something to go in costume in. I will probably also do costumes for my children and probably vlog any kind of like cosplay or con experiences that I'll be going to. And that's going to be my year. Like those three big projects plus the smaller ones in between will fill out my entire year's worth of production. They might not seem like a whole lot of production, but the amount of effort that I put into each cosplay and into each part of my cosplay will take up all of the time that I have. So here's to a great 2025.